A lot of you have been asking about 3D printing, so I figured I'd make a little video in case a Media Center VIP Maker student isn't available during your study time. You can start to tinker through the CAD software all on your own. So in the Media Center Google Classroom, you will find the different codes right here. You can see here that I've listed some things. It's dated back from October 16th. I'm going to recopy this code, and then what I'm going to go ahead to do is go back into Tinkercad, click the sign in button, and then I'm going to go ahead and join the class. I'm going to paste this code in here, and then I'm going to put the nickname, which is SCMS Media 6 if you are a 6th grader. If you're a 7th grader, it would be SCMS Media 7, and 8th grade, so on, okay? That will take you into the Tinkercad program, and you can see we have many students who are already starting to create just some simple keychains, and we even have some students that are working a little bit beyond that and starting to design their own pieces, and I will happily print those as well as long as you follow a couple of rules we mentioned now. So we'll go ahead and create our own design. And you'll notice here that there is a blue work surface. So on your Chromebooks, what you'll do is 2 fingers pushed down onto your mouse pad should allow you to pivot and rotate your work plane or floor as we call it, okay? And it's important for you to know that because when you're finished with your design, you really should check every angle to make sure that everything looks the way it should and that you don't have any floating pieces and that you don't have anything in the basement because that will carve into our 3D print floor. The other trick so that's 2 fingers to push down on your mouse pad. The other thing I like to share with everybody is if you pinch your fingers out, it will actually zoom in almost like a V, just kind of touching lightly on your mouse pad. Just push your fingers out. And then if you want to zoom back in, push 2 fingers in, almost like a lobster claw or a crab claw, if you will. And that should allow you to zoom in on your features and again, check for any floaters or pieces that aren't connected. Okay, you'll notice that you have some basic shapes on the side. Now to make a keychain, what you'll do is you'll grab the square box, and you'll see that we have some white squares and some black squares and then one up at the top. We want to make sure that we stretch this piece out pretty wide. And we can actually bring this down because we don't need it as thick, but you don't want it too thin or I have a hard time getting the breakaway panel off when it's done printing. You want to be mindful as I scroll underneath that you don't have any basements. This is what a basement would look like. You want to make sure, and you can see the change here. Watch this. You can see the change go when it's below the surface to when it's just sitting on it. Did you see it? I'll do it again. Here it's below. And there it's right where it should be. If I go up too far, you can see the change too. That would make it floating. Okay, but right there is where we want it. All right, so this will give you a little foundation to make your keychain. The next thing you'll do is you'll grab the work plane that's located over here to the right side, and we'll go ahead and click on that, and that's it acts like a sticker. So wherever you put it, notice if I go onto the side or if I go on the side here, it's gonna move with me wherever I go. So since we want our name to be up on the top, we're gonna click there, and you'll notice that it turns orange. What we'll do next is we'll go down to the side and grab the text tool and we'll just drag the text out. It doesn't matter what color it is because whatever is in the 3D printer is what's going to print, what color is going to print for you. Now that we're done with the work plane, we'll go ahead and we'll click it off and we'll click back to the floor. And here you can go ahead and change your name. I'll put Mrs. Healy here. Okay, and then you will see that my box is a little bit too small, so I'll go ahead and I'll stretch that out a little bit using some of those little squares that we mentioned before. Now it looks fine from here, but as I turn my shape, you can see that the letters are a little bit thick. Now, if you want the letters raised, you're going to leave them the way they are. If you want them to be carved in, you can pull them down into that box, and then you can make that a hole shape. Notice that it changes from the solid shape to the hole shape. And that's really it. What we do, the last thing we do is we get the hole, ready for the hole for the key ring. And we'll do that by grabbing a cylinder out, and we will go ahead and make this a little bit bigger, and then make that a hole shape as well. Now it's time for the fun part. We get to cut into our shapes. So what I want to do is just double check, make sure that I don't have anything, where I don't want it. And I will go ahead and click off to the side and then scroll to kind of push all of the letters together. And then we're going to hit the grouping button. And you'll notice now, since I had it carved in, it's actually carved in my letters, and the hole is there as well, ready for the ring for my key ring. All right, when you're done, you want to make sure that you have your first and last name here. I'll put Mrs. Healy here. If you do not change the file name, I will not print your design. I won't print it. I will actually delete it. I need to make sure I have a record of everybody's work. All right, I hope you had fun. As you want to play more and more, you will notice that there are different characters and things that you can start to play around with. I also think it's important for you when you go back into the Tinkercad design, there's an automatic save. But when you come back in, don't forget to check out this Learn option. The Learn option is really good to show you. You can hit see all starters and even some next steps and stuff. There's some really cool things that you guys can learn in here. So check it out. I hope you had fun watching our video. I will post this on our Google Classroom for those of you interested in learning on your own. Don't forget to check for floaters, basements, and things that aren't connected properly or it won't print. All right, that's the biggest one. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.